And we're live. Hey guys, welcome to a brand new Ed's Retro Geek Out live stream. Actually, live from the attic because we got the Narcster, we got Greco Fabulous here, and our special guest today is Mr. Toy Polloi.
Oh,
So, welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome.
Um, yeah, kind of just wanted to go around like how have you been? I've heard some terrible stuff over in the UK with the storm Eunice. She passed by in Belgium earlier, but how was it, Dave, when she came over to yours?
it was very very windy and yeah, a little bit of damage here at Toy Ploy. Lost a little bit of roof and didn't have power for most of the weekend. So
Oh,
yeah, it was stormy and very windy, and I'm glad it all went as quick as it did. But I think a lot of people were far worse off than I was, but I don't want to do it again soon.
Yeah. Luckily, you have your abilities to restore everything. So I mean,
And
that came in
unfortunately,
handy, right?
unfortunately, Lego doesn't fix my roof. But the idea.
Oh yeah, I saw that with the Centurions, like fixing it with a piece of Lego. That was like genius. It's like
Yeah,
MacGyver stuff.
Lego is the answer to all. If in doubt, Lego is always my sort of motto. I think I probably have that on a T-shirt. If in doubt, Lego, because if it's broken, there'll always be a piece to fix it. But yeah,
Yeah,
my roof. I
Lego
thought
doesn't break, does it?
no, it's really good stuff. I love it. I'm surprised they don't sponsor me for destroying their goods every day. But
Oh, Tarf says he's from Netherlands, so they had like also a crazy storm. Um, what about you, Narc? Any storms over at yours, or what have you been up to? What has
um,
been occupying your life lately?
we had an ice storm on Thursday, I
Ice
guess.
storm?
Yeah,
What?
like it's been crazy weather in Texas. But you just never know here. It could be 80 degrees in January, or it could be like, 5. It's nuts. So other than that, just hanging out. That's about it, man. That's about it.
That's about it.
Nothing
What
too
about
crazy.
you? But you're doing great. That's
Yeah, doing
cool.
great. Doing
All
great.
right. What about you, Greco? Any snowstorms? Any rains of fire coming down from the sky? Or
You know it's going to be a good live show when we start off talking about the
The
weather.
weather.
Yeah, it's like we're just killing time here. Yeah, we've had snow here in Massachusetts. Not something we're not used to. As far as personally, yeah, it's the very last day of school vacation, and I've been a single parent this most of this week. My wife's in Rome, Italy, which is
oh,
one of the benefits of being
yeah, the
married to
city
me
of
with all this
romance.
yeah, not with her husband though. But I guess that's one of the benefits of being married to a YouTube celebrity like me. It's all those Google ad dollars going to work. So thanks
Travel.
everybody.
Oh man, yeah. I've been occupied with getting my touring schedule together. Maybe you guys know, but or maybe you don't. But in April, me and the guys down below here, Narc and Greco, are actually getting together and going to Chicago. Ooh, what
Chicago.
is it, like the Chicago Toy Show that we're
Kane
heading
County.
to?
Kane County
Kane
Toy.
County.
Yeah.
There we go. Then a little bit earlier in March, I'm actually heading out to Empire Toys 1138. He's another toy tuber who does toy hunts over in the UK, and we're actually going over to the UK to the NEC and visiting some toy shops. So that'll be happening on the 20th of March. And next week, if you're in Europe, if you're in the Benelux, you can definitely go out to Comic Con Brussels. So actually, Quinta, the guy, he offered me this little code. You can get €3 off on your Comic Con Brussels ticket, and like Jason from Power Rangers is going to be there as a guest, and some guys from Star Wars and stuff. So it's going to be great. Last time I went over, we actually met the guy that played Raphael in one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. So if you want to head out there and meet me, I'll be there on Saturday. It is a 2-day event, but you can use the code hashtag BFFCCBX to get $3 not dollars, euros off on your ticket. And that also applies for early bird tickets. If you want to get in early and snag all the good toys from me right before I head in, yeah, you can do that.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for weird stuff these days. So, um, but yeah, okay. Now we're through the weird part. Um, Today we have, of course, Dave from Toy Polloi, and while we already know like the questions from us three over here doing all these live from the attics, there's one question we don't know about Mr. Toy Polloi, and it's actually like which toy lines that you grew up with back in the day.
The ones I think that for me, I love Transformers. Early Transformers was one that was a must-have. Star Wars, I loved Star Wars. Action Man, and then lots of little oddities. Of I didn't have. I think I've sort of said this before. My collection was very eclectic growing up because a lot of it was second-hand stuff. So I had like odd He-Man figures. I had a couple of the A-Team guys. It's just a bit of everything. I'm one of those collectors who, like you can sort of see behind my collection, it is just everything. It's all oddities. I don't have many sort of complete sets of things. It's just things I remember sort of turn up and get added to the shelf. So, but big ones, Transformers, that was probably my sort of biggest love as a young boy, I suppose.
And as far as like what was like the first action figure line you came in touch with? Like,
Actually,
like,
that would be Star Wars and Fisher Price Adventure People.
okay.
Which I get. Fisher Price Adventure People, no one used to collect. I think in the last few years, everyone started to sort of realize how cool they were. But I had a few of those as a kid. I remember very clearly my nan buying me the Frogman, which is like a little blue, it's just a little blue guy in a wetsuit sort of thing. But that I played with that so much. He lost all of his paint and everything. It just, it's like my go-to figure. So that I loved, and like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, the sort of the LJN line, absolutely love those. I've got sort of almost a complete set of those now. But as a kid, I would buy those. My pocket money would get spent on those figures. After a swimming, my dad would take me to a swimming lesson. We'd stop off at the sort of the local supermarket, and I'd get a Dungeons and Dragons figure on the way home because they were. I remember them being like £3, £2, something like that. Not that you could get them like that now, but
Yeah, I saw on your Instagram you actually got a lot in. Like, it's one of the things you really search for, and you get them on card as well.
Yeah. I've only got a few carded because they're so expensive now. But like when I first started recollecting stuff in my 20s, I think I bought like carded ones of the main figures that I liked. So Zarak, Strongheart, War Duke, and they were like £3 each for carded figures. I don't like now. I think those are up there in the stupid money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be insane probably. I actually started collecting those now. I'm actually like really impressed with like the articulation on them, the way they were made, and also just like the variety and sizes that they popped into that
I
line.
think that's what I liked about them, because I liked like Elkhorn is like the little sort of dwarfy guy, and then there was one Polloi or Melf, the little guy with the what's he got? He's an archer, isn't he? So with a little cape, but he's like just completely different shapes. And then you've got the big ones like Ogre King, who sort of towers above. They're just really nice. Have you got the playset yet? Have you got the Fortress of Fans?
No. But Greco has found one, right?
Not complete. I have pieces and a shell.
If I turn my laptop this way.
Ooh.
Oh, there it is.
There's the pieces I need.
Yeah. So that's next to my work desk. That's where I sort of all my paints and stuff. But I just love this set. It's so nice. It's not complete. Like finding them complete is really hard. There's little bits on them that are always missing. But I absolutely love that thing. It's so weird but cool at the same time.
I love how like detailed the accessories are. They actually have paint apps on it as well. Very, very detailed. Is it something that is quite available in the US, Narc, like the Dungeons and Dragon ones?
I mean, we see them for sure. Like the Fortress, I I believe that I don't know. We have like 12 to 15 like vintage toy shops here in the area. I know there's like probably two like complete. Just I think at DVT and Retro Madness actually still has one. So yeah, I mean I see them quite a bit honestly,
Okay. What
but the
about the
prices are
figures?
still up. Figures, yeah, definitely come across them.
Be on the lookout for those when I come over.
I think like some of the earlier figures are really easy to find, but it's the later ones. I'm still hunting for the sort of bright day glow green version of Ogre King. I have the figure, but none of the accessories. It's the last one I saw with the accessories was sort of in the UK was like £130 or something, which is I would never spend any sort of money like that on a toy ever. So it gets left on a shelf. But those sorts of things are crazily expensive now. They're not like if you pick up like Strongheart or War Duke, even though War Duke is a few pounds, you can still get them for.
Yeah, I just picked up like his accessory pack, so I'm still looking for the figure. But and I found like the two horses online as well.
Mm.
But that's pretty much it for now. But I'm really intrigued by the line. Is it a line that you were at any chance into, Greco, or?
Honestly, no, not really. It's not something that I don't have any sentimental attachment to it. So it's just I think especially now before I used to just happy to find anything, but now that I've had all this wild success as a toy hunter, I really gotta narrow it down. So there's very few bits and pieces that I've been adding to my collection in recent history. It's still fun to find them and eventually connect them, make that connection with somebody else that cares a lot more
Yeah,
than I do. That's kind of where I get the thrills nowadays when it comes to that sort of things. But personally, no, it's not. I don't think there's a single piece. I mean, the Fortress of Fangs I'm enjoying like having, but if I ever were to find somebody looking for it, or I'd probably hand it off to them.
I think it's obviously it's that age. I think they came out in 1983, so I would have been 9 years old and watching the cartoon. Although they have nothing to do with the cartoon, I think it sort of grabbed me, and I sold. I think I would say pretty much all my toys when I reached sort of 15 or 16. But I only kept a couple, and one of the ones I kept was Zarak, which is so this is my childhood toy.
that's cool.
I couldn't get rid of him. It just there was something about this figure. So this is the battle, the sort of action one. I just couldn't get rid of it. I loved it so much that I kept it, and I don't no idea why, because I really did sell everything I had. So all of my Star Wars, all of my action, and everything went. But this one and a couple of other small figures, I couldn't get rid of. So,
I had that with like Turtles. I sold off everything like Biker Mice, Toxic Crusaders, Power Rangers, but all of the Turtles, I kept those as a kid. Um, next question is actually like Brad from One Man Toy Show was saying, what is like your definitive favorite toy line when you were growing up? Like, were you obsessed with a toy line back then?
definitely Transformers. That was the one. I couldn't afford them. I loved the cartoon, and I probably only had 10 Transformers total. I didn't, no, they were all the cheap ones. So I had, the little mini bots and things like that. But I would I would cut pages out of the Argos catalogue, which is the sort of catalogue that it would be released like 2 times a year. But coming up to Christmas, I would cut the pages out, and I still have a folder of the pages I cut out, sort of marking the ones I wanted to get off this thing, of which I never got any of them, but I was obsessed with it. So when I started collecting again in my 20s, as well as Star Wars, I just went mad and bought like every single Transformer I'd ever wanted. And just like, now I can afford it, I'm going to have the lot. And I still buy them if I see them cheap. Even if I got it, there's something in me that I've got to go. Oh, I've got to have that, especially if it's the cassettes. I love the little cassettes, and that sort of. I even remember like trying to make my own transforming cassette, and like I was making it out of cardboard. So I must have been sort of 10 or 12, something like that. and all I could do, because I couldn't really make anything, I made a box of toothpaste that turned into a cassette. So it was like literally two boxes that sort of flapped open. That's all it was rubbish, but that's my sort of obsession with this toy line was, well, I can make it look like a box of toothpaste. Terrible. I wish that existed somewhere, but it doesn't. But it was the right size to fit inside Soundwave.
Nice.
See, that's so awesome. I used to make homemade scratch tickets.
Right.
Like, my dad had a little bit of a problem, but it's you know, I mean, I use crayons. You have to scratch them off. You know, I was creative in my own way. But see, that would have been way better using my talents.
Don't believe me, it wasn't. It was absolutely useless, and I sort of in my mind it sort of haunts me because I'm sure as a child I thought it was amazing, but in my mind now I just think, what on earth was I thinking? Why did I make this? It was just two boxes that folded apart. Obviously, the limit of my skills at that time.
Colgate in disguise. That's awesome.
And you were right. It was Colgate.
Mr. Spangler asks, do you also like Kenner Superpowers or Mattel Secret Wars? I know you've done some videos on superpowers with the battle action.
Yeah, it was one I'd never actually heard of it until a few years back, because someone messaged me and said, have I ever worked on this? They're quite interesting. I don't remember those at all from the sort of the toy aisles growing up. So maybe it passed me by. But then there's quite a lot of toys that I've got now in my collection that I have no recollection of ever seeing. But they were they would have been the right era for me. So now I've got a growing bag of superpowers figures, and I think there's one on my shelf behind me. There's a Batman there.
Oh, awesome!
So that's the one I fixed up, because I think a lot of people were asking about the capes, and so I made capes for them. And this guy doesn't have ears, it appears. So I think I've on that one. There's my camera. I've remade the ears to get him sort of looking right. They're nice figures. I don't know. Maybe they weren't that big where I grew up in London.
It seems like they didn't really cross over into Europe as well. Like we see a lot of Secret Wars over here, but the superpowers, it's like very rarely I'll come across them. But I know, like Craig, he has like the Hall of Justice. You have that, right? Yeah.
I've only got a few figures so far. Some of the vehicles, there's a bat car, is there, or something like that. Some of the vehicles look quite nice. I think I saw. I've forgotten his name. Who's the guy Batman fights?
Joker?
No, the other one. The
Self-doubt.
The guy, the bald-headed guy.
Penguin or
Mr. Freeze?
Oh. No, Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor has a... Sorry, my memory is terrible, and you should know. You're younger than me, I think, all of you. So.
We are ashamed. I'm curious, Ed, I don't know if this is on your list of questions, but when you're out toy hunting, do you find more joy in finding your next rehabilitation project, or maybe like a toy that you're searching for your own collection, or do they kind of go hand in hand?
It goes hand in hand, really. I like finding stuff I'm after, certainly. I still have, I've been collecting a long time, so I've got a lot of stuff, but there are still what I would class as grail items, things that I really want to have in my collection. So that always brings me, joy if I find one of those, especially if it's like a bargain. You happen across something really cheap. But I also like finding broken toys. But I've always liked finding broken toys just because most of my collection is built from broken toys. Because I guess I'm a bit of a cheapskate when it comes to toys. I've never wanted to spend a lot of money on toys. I've never felt that I could justify spending a lot of money on a toy. I wouldn't get that enjoyment out of it. So I'd much rather pick up something that's broken and then spend a few hours fixing it. So I'd still like finding odd broken things. And actually, I like people send me odd stuff these days that I've never seen before, and I like that. I've only just done a few mask toy repairs. Kenner mask. Those I'm really enjoying. I never was into mask. But now I've been sent some. It's like, so actually now when I go to toy fairs, I'm looking out for those, buying, I've started a little collection of mask stuff. So
yeah, but the tooling on that must have been crazy for Kenner, because it doesn't seem like it was derived from a Japanese toy.
No, I think
thing or anything. It was made in house. Like
I think it's all made up. But obviously, it takes quite a lot of having looked inside a few of them. There's a lot of influence from Transformers
Mhm.
for how they're made and the sort of the bits that move in them. But yeah, it seems it's all like a brand new idea.
One of the questions that popped up over here from Turtle Chris, what's like the most obscure toy line that you collect?
I think as far probably for people in the UK, Henshin Cyborgs and Shonen Cyborgs, the Japanese clear plastic guys. You can see them here on my shelf. In the UK, they were called Cyborgs, and they just made a sort of 8-inch size, like clear plastic guy. In Japan, you can get a 12-inch size one that sort of was loosely based on the GI Joe large ones. They're quite hard to get. Like the UK ones are hard to get, but the Japanese ones are hard to get. So that's probably the most obscure. Most people don't really know what it is and don't recognize it. But then I collect things like penny racers, and I don't think many people collect penny racers. They're very hard to come by. They're not worth anything, but they're hard to come by because no one sort of collects them.
Same question for you, Greco. What's like the most obscure thing you collect for?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to scan my room for inspiration. I don't know if I have anything that's like really a hidden gem, you know? Like I think I'm pretty mainstream when it comes to my collecting. Mostly because mainstream is where you want to be if you want views, right? Nobody's Googling derby cars or whatever. So, no, but seriously, like, I mean, obviously, I have more of an investment in certain lines that might not be as popular. Like, I'm a little bit of a Pee Wee Herman fan, so like that might not have the mass appeal that a Transformers has nowadays, or just the off stuff like Teddy Ruxpin. I mean, there's a short circuit robot back there, Johnny Five. That's pretty
Nice.
things like that. Again, not things that like people have never heard of before, but just compared to the other ones, maybe just a little lesser collected.
It's interesting you say that you don't cover the things that you don't think people are going to be interested on your channel. I go out of my way to show stuff that I know people don't care about just because I enjoy doing it. So you should do more of the stuff you like. You never know, you might find that community that loves it.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm a big phony. I just chase whatever's the flavor of the week.
Chasing the clicks.
Whatever goes viral, that's what I'm into.
What about you, Narc? What's like the most obscure thing you're after?
So I don't know if it's considered obscure, but I started picking up Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, like the mini figures and the actual tomatoes. So I have 2 complete sets, and they have been very hard to come by. Actually, when Greco was here in Texas in November, he was like, "Dude, I just found like what was it like 1 or 2 carded Attack of the Killer Tomatoes on card for like $20." And I was like, "Dude, go get it, go pick it up." And he totally like went back and was gone. They're like, but like loose complete, the sets are going for like I don't know $40 to $50 now. It's crazy.
Yeah, they tie in with like the Mad Ball stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like about them. I never see them around here. As far as like obscure stuff for me, I'm gonna say like Turley Gang, but it's like the Motu Turtles ripoff thing. But it's just because it's available here, honestly. Like I come across it a lot. It seems to be only from Germany, just like Commander Dennis. Hey, what's up? So yeah, that's why I'm like really into it. And it's just like army building. There's like maybe 2 that actually look like a turtle, but I'll just keep buying them over and over again. So we kind of got sidetracked, but once again, back to like your childhood, Dave. Did you consider yourself a toy collector as a kid?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say then. I just played with toys. I think like most children, you love toys and that. So I just played with what I had, and I guess I was quite creative with them because I didn't have a lot of stuff, and so things would get converted into other toy lines, on a lot of my stuff. My mum would go to jumble sales, which is sort of like a tabletop sale, and she'd just come back with odd things. So I'd end up with like an odd sort of Mego Batman, or just odd little figures, nothing really matched. So the stuff I bought would be Star Wars, Transformers, that sort of thing. But then my mum would just bring back weird things. And I had Murdoch from the A-Team, the 6-inch figure.
Yeah.
And then I got really into Ghostbusters, and so I converted my Murdoch into a Venkman by I made a little jacket for him out of, I don't know, it was some offcut of fabric. It wasn't quite the right color, but I made a jacket, and I made a backpack out of Lego. And I remember I've got a photo of, I made Ecto 1 out of Lego as well. It's like, it doesn't really look that much like it, but it's like a white it's a white car. And I'd obviously hand drawn the Ghostbusters symbols and stuck them on the doors. So, I wasn't a toy collector. I just like playing with toys. And I think that's really, I'm still convinced that's why I do what I do today, is that I just like playing with toys. And I think fixing toys is just playing with them just in a slightly different way. If I was to lay on the floor, moving figures around, making funny noises, people will laugh at me. But if I sit at a desk and paint them and repair them, it's essentially a grown-up way of playing with toys. I'm still playing with them. It's
Yeah.
Were toys kind of the broken toys and wanting to repair them kind of the driving force behind your craftiness, or did you kind of have that first and then you saw that as an outlet to kind of combine?
I think it's blended in together, because I don't like spending that much money on toys. I would buy the broken ones, and then I would just sit and think, well, I can make something that will look just about like it. And so, the bit that's missing, or fix it up. And over the years, I've sort of honed my skills, I suppose, and become more creative in what I know I can fix. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have bothered picking up years ago, because I wouldn't have known how to fix it. Whereas now it's like, I know what I'm doing. I'll buy any old rubbish just because I know I can fix it, or I can at least do something with it. So it's sort of, I don't know, it's all born out of me not wanting to spend money on toys, I guess. If I was to buy, I know some people, if you spend like 50 or 60 quid on a figure and you stick it on a shelf, that would annoy me, because I wouldn't have got that much pleasure out of it. It would niggle in my mind that it would sit there. I've wasted money on a figure. But if I spend £2 on a figure and then like a day fixing it up and put it on my shelf, I got £2 worth of pleasure, if not much more pleasure out of it. And it also has a little bit of I've got a connection with it, and it becomes more of a fun item for me.
I mean, I think you definitely personalize it when you take that approach, right? As opposed, because it's unique to you, and it's something that you helped kind of bring back to its former glory. It's not something that was mass produced at, around the world. Everyone, there's plenty of examples. This one is, you can literally say, one of a kind in a way.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think people get too het up on things being mint. There's no such, as far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as mint. They come out of a mass-produced factory. They've all got flaws. They've all got bits. None of them are perfect. There isn't no such thing as a mint toy, and they should be played with. That's what they're there for. They should be played with, and they should be a bit broken and a bit beaten. And it's just part of their story. And so what I'm doing is just another part of their story.
I think it's great. It's like an extension on the adventure that is toy hunting. Because for me, definitely, like, instead of just, not that I don't do it, but going on eBay and buying something that's considered mint, or that's the thing I want and it's complete, okay, I'll buy it because I just want it. It's much more fun to go out and find and have a story attached to it than, maybe piecing together, like continuing to hunt to get the accessories. And then what you're doing is, restoring it to its former glory, adding your own little touches to it, maybe making it even a little bit better. So you're definitely getting your worth out of these toys.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot, like, judging by the amount of people who message me and watch my videos, I think there's a huge amount of people out there who do the same. And it's not just adults who do this. kids are watching what I do and doing the same, and they're if they break a toy, they'll then watch one of my videos and go, well, I couldn't fix it, but I've done this to it, or I've made it better. And I think that's great. That's what it should be about. It's playing with toys. That's all we do. We're adults who play with toys. Let's face it.
When did you mentioned you sold most of your toys when you were like 14. When did toys come back into your life?
I was about 21. I got my first job, and my day job is I do computer graphics for games. That's what
Okay.
so I make models and animate and all the stuff, and I've been doing that for since I was about sort of 15, 16. But I got my first job in an office, and I think they hadn't done it, but in the back storeroom there was a box of Transformers, because I think they were trying to make a Transformers game or something like that. So these were like Generation 2 Transformers, and I sort of was rummaging in this box, and I grabbed a couple and stuck them on my desk, and that sort of got me thinking. It's like, oh yeah, I like this sort of stuff. And then I used to meet a friend of mine down in London for lunch. He lived near, no, where did he work? Covent Garden Market, something like that. So on a Monday, I think at Covent Garden Market, there was a guy with a toy store there, and so I'd go and buy Star Wars figures off this toy store for like £1 or £2 each, and it just sort of spiraled from there. It's that sort of thing. And we had some friends. We went to a car boot sale, and I saw an ATST at this car boot sale. I'd never had an ATST. It was one of those childhood ones. I'd always wanted it. I'd never managed to get one, and I saw this ATST, and it was a £5. So I bought that, and then on the next stall I found a Biker Scout for 5p. Like this was, you don't find that sort of stuff. And it's that sort of thing. It's that suddenly seeing something that I'd always wanted as a kid, and actually now having the money to have it, because I had a job, I could buy all of this stuff that I wanted. So I just started buying, and however many years later, sort of almost 30 years later, I'm surrounded by it.
And now it's pretty much just anything that tickles your fancy. But before, did you have some kind of a focus where this new obsession was going?
Yeah, definitely. It was Star Wars. I wanted to get every Star Wars figure and all the vehicles that I'd never had, because I'd never had any Star Wars vehicles. I'd had a couple of the mini rigs, so I sort of went down that way. Transformers, as I say, I bought every Transformer. I think I got a complete collection of G1 Transformers. I don't have it anymore. I realized it was just too big a collection, so I got rid of most of it. But I sort of got every G1 Transformer. And then I did start buying like the Power of the Force 2 Star Wars stuff, new toys. But I didn't really have that connection to them. So I bought them and then got rid of them all, and then sort of went back to vintage. And then it's just, nowadays, it's just, if I see something I remember or have that tiny little spark of memory, then it starts off this, I will go down that route of buying it. Like I've got a lot of Action Man now. I had Action Men as a kid. I never intended to collect Action Men, but a friend of mine gave me 2 Action Men to fix up. And now I'll turn it this way just so you can see. So there's now,
oh wow,
there's now like more Action Men than will fit on the screen.
He has a live studio audience with him.
Yeah, they're all watching. So that was an unintentional collection, because I bought, I was given these 2, so I bought outfits for them that I'd remembered having. And then once you buy 2, you get another one, and you get another one, and you guys will be well aware, one is never the answer.
Spirals out of control. You're buying one Captain Planet toy, next thing you know, you get a full set.
Yeah,
it's like those turtles. They're going to be multiplying.
Yeah.
Next time we do a stream, it's going to be all turtles.
Yeah, it's certainly it does go down that route. But I can see, I can see your shelves behind you. It's not just me who does this. So I feel at home here.
Oh yeah, this is yeah. We're in the right company.
Dave, have you ever considered like fixing or doing videos on newer toys, action figures, or anything like that?
I don't really collect newer toys, and the ones I have bought, I've been very disappointed in the quality of them. They're not made. Old toys are made like to last.
Yeah.
And new toys, I find them even as an adult, I find them frustrating. And you know, I bought a few of the Force Awakens vehicles, like the X-wing and the TIE fighter and the Millennium Falcon, and especially when the Millennium Falcon didn't work out of the box. That's an expensive toy.
Yeah.
And it didn't work, and I then had to spend an hour taking it apart and fixing it. And so, yeah, I don't really buy modern stuff just because I find it makes me not angry, just disappointed. You know, that's sort of like, it shouldn't be like this. You should get a toy out of the box, and it should work. I bought quite a lot of the Transformers. What was the first movie called? The first Michael Bay Transformers movie. Because I really like the design of those toys. I really like the look of the characters and that. And I think I took 3 or 4 back to the shop straight away, because you get them out of the box and there'd be something broken on them, or an arm had broken or something. And it's like, and I think that really sort of tainted my view of modern toys. I know they're not all like that, but you know.
What about like the ones that are marketed to adults, like starting with like the Spawn stuff from the late 90s, but now like NECA or the Ultimates, things like that? I guess like there could be a lot of clicks in providing useful information in how to get them out without destroying them.
But that's the problem.
They're not when they are destroyed.
They're not toys. Someone sent me recently was it Diamond Select made the Battlestar Galactica, sort of like the TV show. They made the toys for that, the modern TV show. And someone sent me one of the Cylons that he bought. I think he bought 3 of them, and the first 2 had both been broken straight out of the box. And he sent it to me to fix. And I did manage to fix it. Bit of Lego obviously came in handy to fix it. But the fact that these toys, they're not toys, and you open them, they're broken. It's I'm going to stay doing what I do, which is old toys, because I know I can fix them, and I know that they're made nicely. New toys, like I bought, like the new He-Man stuff is quite good. The Origins ones, I've been buying quite a lot of those. They seem, as far as modern toys go, they're pretty sturdy. Bad paint application, but the figures themselves are sturdy.
Okay. Oh, Tim from Germany is in. Hey, buddy. So Bile asked if you got any wobbles. I'm not familiar.
I don't have any wombles. I did as a kid. We used to have like cake decoration wombles. These sort of weird. They look like pencil toppers, but they're put on cakes. I've got Weebles, but I don't have wombles.
Yeah, I was thinking like, is it Weebles or is this something different? But it is something.
Wombles is a very British thing. It's a selection that they are. I think I'm going to call them bears. They live on Wimbledon Common, and they tidy up the rubbish that people leave. It's a TV show from like early 70s. The Wombles of Wimbledon. They had songs in the chart. They had #1 singles and stuff. They're really weird. If you don't know them, do check them out. But it's very British.
Awesome. What's it like toy hunting in the UK? Like, is the stuff like the Polloi, Action Force, and in the Star Wars variants, is that something? Is it also just rare over there, or is it like common?
The Polloi, like carded Polloi stuff, is for Star Wars is very hard to find. They're not particularly common. Action Force, like a couple of years ago, you couldn't give Action Force stuff away. It was just everything. No one wanted it. In fact, I've got somewhere I've got a Muton, an Action Force Muton, which I paid £2 for a carded figure, but like only a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Now
people are going crazy for them. I don't know. That's just sort of the toy collecting world. They found a new thing to collect, and it's Action Force. No, you find all sorts here. There's the toy fairs I go to. The one that's local to me is called the Toy and Train Collectors Fair. So there's a lot of like train stuff.
Yeah. But
I tend to like that because those collectors, the people who sell the trains and the dinky, they all buy up people's collections, and they only know about the die-cast stuff, the cars and the trains, and all of the other stuff that they don't know anything about. They just sort of stick on the side, and you can find bargains because they don't know what this stuff is. It's just, to them, it's nothing. It's not what they collect. So you can still find good stuff here, certainly.
I've been like enjoying your toy hunts, as well as like the Empire Toys channel. He has one like almost every week. It seems like there's like really well structured places where you can just go to like almost every weekend to go to Toy Fair with. Are there any like you would recommend?
I don't really go to that many because I'm down in Somerset, so I'm sort of like
Mhm.
not. I think Empire Toys. I can't remember his name. I've met him a
It's
few
more
times.
London. Aaron, he's
Aaron, that's
from
right.
around London.
Yeah, I've met him at a couple of them. Yeah, up in London, I think there's more. Down here, there's a few around, but the one I go to is in Shepton Mallet. I was supposed to go to one in Exeter, but that's when the weekend the storm hit, so
Oh,
I
okay, yeah.
had to call that one off. I will go to it again. Exeter's like an hour and 20-minute drive away, so fair old drive, but that's quite a good one. And then there's a few round here, sort of smallish ones, but I think if you're in London, you're going to be much better, sort of, a much better selection.
Do you also do like the car booting or flea marketing around your area?
Yeah,
Or?
there's a flea market here as well that I go to, which is quite good. Sort of hit and miss because there's not often toys, but when there are toys, I found some really good bargains there. Like I bought a Tron light cycle for 50p. I've often find Action Men and Steve Austin, $6 Million Man stuff. So there's those I quite like. Again, I just like looking at old rubbish. So there's always something to find.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you, like, how did the restoration stuff come into effect? But you were already doing it as a kid, so.
Well, that's the thing. I would repair stuff as a child, certainly. And then when I've been collecting as an adult, I just fix stuff. Toy Polloi itself, the sort of the YouTube channel, was the reason that started was a friend of Mrs. Toy Polloi was going out with James Bruton, who runs the channel X Robots. So he makes robots and stuff like that. I think he's got like 1 million subscribers or something crazy now. But when I met him, he didn't have that many. He was big, but not that big. And he came around and saw my stuff, and he was like, "Well, why don't you film what you do? Why don't you show people what you do?" And I'd never really thought about doing that. I was quite happy just sitting in my room repairing stuff for myself. But he sort of said that it was good fun, have a go. And so I started this up, and it's now 8 years later. I'm still doing it, and I still really enjoy doing it. So I would fix toys even if I didn't do videos, I think is what I was trying to say. I would quite happily repair stuff, but the videos is just a good outlet and a good way of meeting people like yourselves. It's nice to be able to meet people all over the world who have a similar interest in toys.
Definitely.
I like learned about the channel through some of the repairs you did on the classic, on the vintage Motu line. So like I was trying to fix it and your videos popped up. So that's how I got it. It must have been like 5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, so. I've been doing a lot of Masters of the Universe stuff. I've had a love for Skeletor for quite a long time, and that's why I keep buying Skeletors. I did start filming a video last week. I gave up on it. I'll start again. I've lost count of how many Skeletors I had, and people keep asking me to show my Skeletor collection. So I will finish it and get them all out.
How long does it take you to produce one of your videos? Because I can imagine it might take some work to kind of capture the process.
Yeah, because you have to do the logistics because there's time that is in between, like when you do the retro bride process, when you do you have to piece it back together.
Yeah, some take a long. Some are really quick. I filmed one over the weekend, which I did in an afternoon from start. I sort of pre-planned it, but I did it in an afternoon. But I've been doing where is it? I've been working on this like surprisingly small vehicle, and that took about 4 weeks to get this thing filmed and finished. It's tiny, but it just everything about it took a lot of time. I had to design how to make the windscreen, so that's like a handmade windscreen.
Okay.
So that took me a couple of days to sort of work out how to do it, and then I've designed custom stickers, so you can actually see there's like jets and stuff underneath it, and more sort of cockpit stickers and things like that. But that takes me time. I've had to repaint the figure. I've had to find parts, and then I've been chatting with a guy on Instagram who makes replacement boxes. So I had to get a box off of
Oh,
him,
that's cool.
which took. So this project, it's a tiny vehicle, about 4 weeks. Just, absolutely crazy. But but I'm not working on that full time. I was working on other projects at the same time. I've been doing a prototype version of Steve Austin. So there's a few photos of Steve Austin that are on the boxes where he doesn't look like the final doll. He's got like a different badge on him. So this badge is different. And I've been working on that, and I had to send his engine block away to be chrome plated. So that took quite a while. The guy who did the chrome plating for me, a guy called Paul, Gold Plating Solutions, I sent that off to him before Christmas, but I only got it back like last month or something because he had other projects to do as well. So Steve Austin's been sitting there for like 3 months.
I'm curious. I mean,
stuff is
a
just
lot.
waiting to get repaired.
Yeah. I've got piles of stuff here. I have this I've been working on for about a year, and I just can't get it finished. So it's still sitting here. I know what I want to do with it, but I just haven't sort of got around to doing it. So I've repaired the back of it because all of this was smashed up and broken, but I just haven't had a chance to actually finish it. So that's been about a year or more that's just been sat there.
If you ever found the actual replacement parts, would you introduce those, or would you leave your work as is?
Sometimes I replace it. I actually got a part for something recently that was the original part. I made it myself, and then I finally found the original. But I actually preferred my handmade one, so I just left the original. I have the original, and it's sort of with the toy, but my handmade one is sat on it just because I think I was quite pleased with how well my handmade thing came out, so I'd rather just leave it as that. But sometimes I swap. It depends on my mood.
I'm also curious. Sorry, Ed, I want to get this question out, Ed.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's been eating at me now. So I know people nowadays that they look to you and your channel as a resource when it comes to ideas on how to repair things or just approaches to some of these problems. What were your outlets and resources when you were kind of figuring it all out? Was it all just self-taught, or like what was out there for you to kind of help you along the way?
I guess in the start, not a lot. You could download stickers sheets and get stickers for stuff, and occasionally people make reproduction parts for things, but not often. So trial and error, really. I just make stuff up, and often it's a case of you've got something that's broken and you know roughly what part you need to fix it, but it's then just finding that part and looking at odd things and going, oh, well, that looks sort of like what I need. I'm sure I can make that into what will work. So a lot of trial and error. I do watch a lot of YouTube, but not toy related stuff. I think a lot of people think I just spend my time watching toy repairs. I just watch people repairing anything, because you'd be surprised what you learn from someone fixing something else, that you'll suddenly go, that's not a toy, but that sort of thing will work on what I'm, the problem I've got. So that's really the big turning point was Lego, actually. Once I'd worked out that Lego, you can do almost anything with Lego, and there will be a piece of Lego that matches what you need. It made toy fixing so much easier.
Have you ever repaired any of the vintage Tmnt light turtles, like the broken legs with plastic?
No, I've got 4 turtles. I think you saw them next to my action man. That is all I have as far as turtles. I've never sort of got into it. People do message me and say there does seem to be quite a problem with the lower arms breaking off and stuff like that. So I probably should, and I bet it would be very easy to fix, but I have yet to get them. I didn't like Ghostbusters. I didn't really get into the Ghostbusters figures until my friend Jeremy, Tokyo Toy Bastard, he's massively into that sort of stuff, and he gave me a couple of figures that he wanted fixed up, and they sat on the side of my sort of work desk for a few years because I couldn't think of how to do it. And then all of a sudden it's like, yep, I know what I'm doing, and now I've got loads of them because I actually quite enjoy fixing them. So turtles, I'm sure if I had one I would fix it.
So,
I'll be looking forward to that.
We'll,
I have
we'll get you some broken ones.
Yeah. I have tons that I need repaired. I mean, I could probably do it, but I'm a visual guy, so that would be.
I will put it on the list, and next time I find some, I'll do it, because I like the challenge of fixing something I've never fixed before. That's always the enjoyment. That's why the mask stuff has been interesting, because I've never had them and I've never played with them. It's all new to me, and although there's a lot of skills that I have from other toys, it's nice to try them out on something that I've never worked on, and then know that it does actually work.
Very cool.
Well, what would you think is like your most epic rebuild, or what's like the thing that took you the longest to make, like the most difficult repair you've done?
Oh, the most difficult. There's frustrating ones, certainly. Working out the wing mechanism on TIE fighters, because they always break. That was frustrating. And in fact, that TIE fighter that I fixed in the video had been on my wall for 10 years, like broken. And I just, every time I look at it, it's like, at some point I must work out how to do that. But it took me 10 years, I think, because I fixed something else and then thought, oh, well, that will work. So there's certainly lots of frustrating fixes. What was I working on recently? Some of the He-Man vehicles are frustrating because you can't open them. And I think anything that you can't open makes it awkward to fix. I like vehicles that you can just take the screws out at the bottom and it comes apart. But He-Man vehicles are, a pain sometimes. But
did you ever have to break something in order to fix it eventually? Like with the He-Man vehicles, like did you have to pry them open and then I'm breaking it, but I have to piece it back together?
Sometimes if it's a vehicle I'm worried about working on, I'll find another one that's in even worse condition just so I can smash it apart. and not worry about it. And I do break things off camera so that when I come to fix it, I look a little bit more like I know what I'm doing. But like I've done when I did Ram Man, like making Ram Man sort of
jump really high.
I'd never done one of those before, and I'd never broken one apart. So it literally was just a case of, I've got a hammer, I've got a Ram Man, let's see what happens, and just hit him a few times. But Ram Man's cheap. If you break a Ram Man, no one's going to go, oh, you've ruined this like rare toy. No one cares about Ram Man. So.
You should see the comments; they say otherwise. Do you as far? Sorry, I know you're the host. I'm jumping all over you, but I'm just curious.
Go ahead,
Dave. Do you have the same? Do you have the same mindset as far as repairs in everyday life? Like, are you building cabinets, and are you an amateur mechanic, or is it strictly for toys where the passion lies?
No, I do quite a lot of DIY stuff. In fact, I've just been not on my own. A friend of mine has helped me build a new porch on our house because. I tried to get a builder to do it and no one would want to do it, but my friend's like, oh, well, we can do that. So him and me have been working on it, and that's quite good fun because it's just like fixing stuff but bigger, and it hurts more. That's about fixing toys is easy. Shoveling cement and sand and stuff is really hard work. So I do tinker with things, of any size, but toys are much easier because they're tiny.
Have you used any Legos in the home improvement projects?
No, but plastic weld comes in incredibly useful for fixing. Like I've glued things back together with plastic weld, and I certainly a lot of the skills I show on screen get used for everything. It's you'd be amazed what toy fixing knowledge can be used for.
Okay. Talking about toy fixing knowledge, Greco, have you ever fixed any toys, or is that just not on the menu?
Yeah, I just don't like to brag about it, make my whole channel. No, just kidding. No, I'm definitely. I would definitely not put myself on Dave's level by any means, but I'm not afraid to open something up and kind of see how it ticks, kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, obviously, just from toy hunting, you accumulate a lot of parts and pieces, and you break things along the way accidentally. So anytime I can kind of hoard those and restore something, I haven't gone the same path where I'm fabricating something out of nothing, but if I'm finding actual parts that were made for the figure or whatever I'm working on, I'll try to see what I can do to try to restore it from that perspective.
I think that's something that people like ask me is like, aren't you devaluing it? That's a big thing, especially with Star Wars collectors. Aren't I devaluing something? And my response is, if it's broken, how can you devalue it? It's broken, and also if it's broken, the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to break it some more. That literally is the worst that's going to happen. So don't ever worry about these things. If they're already broken, have a go. Nothing bad can happen. You might break it some more, you might not, but it's already broken and it's already of no use to people, really. So just have a go.
Agreed.
What about you, Narc? Have you tried
not with
fixing
toys,
stuff?
not with toys, but video game consoles I can repair all day. But with toys, I haven't really dug into that yet. But looking forward to it. If we get some little video.
Are you good at electronics then? And because that's my weak point is electronics. I can't deal with that sort of stuff.
I mean, basically just part replacement. Honestly, cleaning, part replacement. Nothing crazy. No soldering or anything like that. But
even I solder.
Yeah.
Come on. When are you gonna grow up?
I know.
That's something I would like to get better at, is the electronic side of fixing toys. My knowledge, I should be expert. My dad, before he died, he was an electronics engineer, and he would make things like amazing sort of things, solid state stuff. So no computers involved. He'd make things that would track the moon and stuff like that. I have no idea how he did this stuff, and I wish I knew more of it. But I can do a little bit of lights and a light with a switch. That is my limit on the electronic side of it.
Yeah. I don't dabble in the electronic stuff. I do like the super glue fixes.
Right.
That's the one I do. Or I'll like paint a little on like some of the surfaces, or do like you do the trick with like the lost noses and stuff. So I kind of like learned that from you, to just pop them back on. That's great. But far from that, I don't really try too much, or I'll just pass it on to one of my friends who does like customizations, and he'll try fixing it for me. But it's definitely like fun to see like whenever it has a mechanism and you're like, why doesn't it work anymore? Maybe it just like went out of something that's not in place. I'll try looking that up, and mostly you can fix it, or you do like this little engineering tricky thing.
I think none of these things are. Some look complicated, but actually, when you take them apart and sort of have a sort of play with them, they're not so bad. I've just been doing the Bashosaurus. I love a Bashosaurus. I'd never had one of these before, but actually, when you take it apart, the mechanism inside it is really very clever. It's simple, but it's very clever the way it, that moves forwards and that sort of part of the toy is almost more fascinating than the toy itself. The toy is actually a bit rubbish, but what's inside it is like, oh, that's very clever. I like that. And at some point you may see it again in another toy, the fact that you can do that.
Awesome. You kind of like met the guy that does the robot stuff, who's on YouTube, and he said like, you should try YouTube. How did YouTube come about for you, and were you already doing like the writing, because you also write for magazines and stuff? I heard.
No, the YouTube stuff just sort of started because of James, suggesting it, and I guess I probably got in at the right time, because now there's a lot of toy channels, and there wasn't that many back then. So you could also monetize straight away, which you can't do now. So even with one subscriber, you could monetize your videos. You'd still make no money. That's that's not how YouTube works. But it was like, oh, you could. So no, I about I would say probably about 6 months into doing Toy Polloi, I was contacted by a website that doesn't exist anymore. That was a sort of collector's thing, and I wrote a few articles for them and did some videos for them. Well, I've been writing for Fusion only for a couple of years. They got in touch with me. They do this retro magazine, and you know, wanted to add retro toys to their sort of thing. And I guess they like, considering they'd never seen me write, they just said, could I write something? And it was quite fun. There's a sort of joke. I failed. I did really badly at school. I did really badly at English because I'm not a very good writer. I'm an artist, you know, that's all I do. I do art stuff. So it was quite funny to think that I now write for a magazine each month, and you know, people seem to like it and seem to read it. But yeah, so it's all just come. All of this stuff has just come from doing toy videos. I'm in the process of potentially writing my own sort of annual for this year. So there will be a Toy Polloi annual full of stuff.
That's a cool concept.
Mhm.
What's like your process for creating the videos?
Initially coming up with the idea, you know, trying to find something that I'm interested in fixing, or that I think other people would be interested in fixing, or like Greco says, doing something that no one's interested in, which is often happens. I do videos just because I'm interested in them. I did one 2 weeks ago doing the hair on a Cindy doll, and I knew no one would be interested in it. But
Well, I guess like
interested.
a lot of like My Little Pony collectors would be interested in that as well.
Not my core audience, I don't think, My Little Pony people. But
Yeah, but I mean, you do YouTube to expand on, you know, other
Yeah.
people. I guess like some stuff you've already fixed could be applied to other type of toy lines as well. It's the same thing, like you said before. I check out repair videos all day just to see what can I use
yeah,
to do what I want to do.
but yeah, for me, for content, it's really a case of I've got piles of toys here, broken toys. So I just wait and see if something grabs my attention and think, you know, what I want to do. Or people do send me broken toys, which is really nice. That's the sort of the great thing about Toy Polloi now. When I first started, it was literally just stuff I had, so I was only fixing things I collected. And now people send me things because they think I will be interested in them. So I'll get a box of just some broken stuff, and it'll be like, you might enjoy this, have a go. And it takes me down, you know, new collecting paths. You know, like I said with the mask stuff, I wasn't into mask, but I was sent the Rhino to fix up. That was really good fun. So as soon as I finished that, I then bought myself the Condor, because I think I'd always seen this one and thought it was quite nice, and it's like, well, I'll just buy it and have a go.
Yeah, I heard you have like, you're usually like a month ahead on videos. Is that true?
Yeah.
Insane.
But I don't, because I have a day job, I don't always get time to work on videos. You know, I've got to, and also, like we discussed, projects take a lot longer than people think they do. So if you're watching a 20-minute video I've made, that may have taken 2 weeks for me to find the parts, source the parts, get them all in. So a month gives me that window of opportunity that I know I'll have got something finished. And because I do produce 2 videos every week, that's actually quite a lot of content. I think people think that that's easy to do. It's not.
It's a struggle.
You guys know
it's
not easy.
Man.
making any video, no matter how long it is quite a lot of work, and you've got to put some thought into it. Even if your video looks amateur, like some of my videos I know look quite amateur, they still take a lot of work to make. I don't think people understand that's, you know, making videos is quite a hard, you know, it's a hard thing to do. So
and
yeah,
I imagine you can like get stuck because like once you've like done a repair, you then have to get like the next toy you're gonna want to feature in the video, and if something goes wrong, there's like no video.
Yeah, that's why I work so sort of far in advance. I've just finished uploading videos. We're just in February, aren't we? I've uploaded the first 2 videos for April this week. So
wow.
Just so that I'm ready. But so yeah, so one of them's the Bashosaurus. You've seen that. There's,
Okay.
Steve Austin, the Condor. That's 2 videos actually for the Condor. And then what else have I got? Some Darth Vader capes for the 12 for the figures. That's another video coming up. Fabric capes for vintage Darth Vader to make him look like better. So that's another video. I've always got projects on the go.
I want to talk directly to my subscribers right now. If you want a consistent release schedule for me, you're going to have to get a lot more people to start watching.
But as I think we were discussing before, the stream started, it's not just making videos, is it? Because you all have to chat to the people who watch your videos, and you have to respond to comments. People message you, so it's not just about the videos that we produce as content creators. It's the chatting to the community and chatting to people and responding. That actually takes a lot of time as well. And I think, again, I don't think people realize all the stuff that you have to do in the background just to run a channel. It's not just the videos.
Yeah.
You've got to chat with people, and you're building your own communities as a channel.
Very true.
I heard that like one of the working boards you work on, like the green thing, that you auctioned that one off, like the last one. Is that true?
But it was my cutting mats get really battered and beaten. They always look terrible, and I think one of them I'd spilt paint all over it, so it was just useless. And I threw it in the bin, and I was just going to throw it out. And I said I said this to someone. They said, "Why don't you auction it off?" I was like, "What, really?" So I dug it out the bin. We happened to have a picture frame that it just fitted in, so I put it in the picture frame and I signed it. And I did an auction, and I think it raised over £100 for Prostate Cancer UK. I gave it all to charities.
Okay.
It's like I was literally just chucking this thing in the bin. So yeah, people.
Oh, I mean, it's got a lot of history on it. What, it was like 200 videos made on that thing, or something
So
like that.
it actually went to one of my sort of regular subscribers. So it's really nice because I know he has it in his workshop, which I just think is really funny that this thing is sat in someone's room. But
That's cool.
I should probably do it again because the ones I'm using at the moment are in a tatty state as well. So I might do it again.
How are you finding the content that we make and that you make is working out with the algorithms these days on YouTube?
YouTube is, you guys will know, then they don't go set out to help you in any way at all. So the only way you get seen is by doing your own work and your own promotion. So I don't believe I'm doing massively well. I've got a lot of subscribers, but that doesn't actually mean that you're doing well. It's about views. And so the general rule of thumb seems to be if you've got, no matter how many subscribers you've got, only 10% of those will watch your videos. So I have 50,000 subscribers and I get about 5,000 views a video, which isn't very good, in the grand scheme of things, isn't very good at all. But what can you do? YouTube won't help, and you just have to persevere and do it for your own enjoyment.
Yeah, how are you gonna fix that, Dave?
You can't. You literally can't.
Could you potentially fix YouTube?
Yeah, with Lego.
Throw a couple Lego bricks that way.
Yeah.
No, I think I feel I'm at a disadvantage. I'm a sort of middle-aged, grey-haired man fixing toys from the sort of 70s and 80s. If I was younger, female, attractive, I would probably be, a big internet sensation now. I also don't like appearing on camera much, which I'm not sure if YouTube particularly cares about that. I don't really like my face being in my own videos. I'm not. It's not about me. It's about the toys, is what I always think. So I'm not really a personality, if you get what I mean. It's not because you don't see my face very often. I'm not a recognizable personality. You'll recognize my hands more than you would recognize my face.
Yeah, honestly, not gonna lie, I was going into this, I was like, is he actually gonna show himself on camera?
Yeah,
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, I've had people. I was at a toy fair, and I was chatting. I think I was chatting to the stall holder because I was trying to buy a toy, and a guy sort of sidled up to me, and he goes, "Are you Toy Polloi?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Oh, I recognised your voice." Like he didn't know what I looked like. It was literally he just knew what I sounded like. But no, YouTube. I'm sure you have the same things. YouTube aren't any help, and the algorithm is no help whatsoever. So getting seen is blind luck, I tend to think.
Difficult, yes.
Yeah.
I kind of wished I had like popped people into like a newsletter so I'd actually be able to like notify them about things, because it's weird how that works sometimes.
It's certainly odd. You see the smaller channels these days. I try and help as many small channels as I can. I'll promote them and sort of share their videos, and especially the channels that are under 1,000 subscribers, because I think getting to 1,000 subscribers is quite a milestone for any channel. So if you're below that and I'm sort of watching your stuff, I will promote your channel and tweet about it and post about it, because once you've hit that 1,000, I think YouTube does help a little bit. It's more inclined to give you a bit of a push, but under that, you are nothing to anybody. To YouTube, you're nothing. That's it. But I don't think even at our level, I know Ed, you've got slightly more subscribers than I.
Yeah,
I think even at our level, YouTube classes us as nothing. We're not important. We don't make them much money. We are of no interest to them at all. I think you've got to be, 1 million subscribers, they'll probably take note. Under what we have,
I think so too. But I mean, like, it's definitely fun to be part of, just the toy community. Because once you do have like a video that goes like that gets like the views you wish to get, there's like a ton of people watching it that this content is actually not for you. Like I can read it in the comments that this is definitely not made for you. You know.
No, I did. I occasionally try and sort of trick the system. Like if you look on YouTube, there are what I would class as fake repairs, toy repairs. So like it always looks like it's in the Far East or Russia or somewhere like that. Someone walking along and just happens to find a broken Lamborghini toy car in the dirt, and then they'll take it back home and sort of brush it off, and halfway through the video you can see they swap it out to a brand new car, and then these videos get like millions and millions of views, and I'm like, who on earth is watching them, and how do they get these like so many views? So I did a fake one of those a while back, where I buried a stormtrooper up in some fields up there. Just sort of wandered along in the rain. Oh, look, I found a stormtrooper. Took it home with it. And that video did really well. And it winds people up to this day because they're like, you never found that. How on this?
Yeah.
But I tried to play the system. I still haven't got millions of views on it, but it made me laugh. And it annoyed a lot of people, which is also quite funny. So
it was a good
engagement. It's the engagement rate that goes up, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think if you run a channel, if you get 10% of your subscribers watch your videos, that's a good day. If I get 5,000 views on a video, I would class that video's done well. If I get 10,000, that video's done very well. But it doesn't happen. I would say 90% of my videos are 5,000 views.
I guess speaking of generating content, I'm curious as far as the topics and projects that you approach. Is it something where it's generated by what you find out in the wild, or do you come up with ideas and then you find the pieces to kind of make the project happen?
A bit of both. Sometimes I'll have an idea for a video, and then I'll hunt down a toy to so that I can show that off, and those videos like sometimes don't work very well as well. But on other times it's like you say, I have a broken toy. I sometimes try to make it that my videos will generate, if it's one that I'm, we make money off videos, as you know. That's the basis of YouTube. And I try to do a video that my costs involved will be covered by the advertising revenue I get back.
Mm-hmm.
And they always go hideously wrong if I try and do that. I had an idea to fix Jabba the Hutt's arms, you know, the sort of the Star Wars Jabba the Hutt's arms, and I bought a Jabba the Hutt, and I paid like £20 for a Jabba the Hutt with broken arms, and that video still only made me £13. So, like, it didn't work for me. And I've done that before, but like Darth Vader as well. I wanted to show how to fix Darth Vader's arms on the 12-inch, you know, the big Darth Vader. So I bought a Darth Vader for £21 with broken arms to show it, and I think that video has only made me a $5 in all the years. And 2 days after I filmed the video, I found Darth Vader, another one, for £3. I was quite annoyed.
I've noticed that, at least for me, and it's different from repair videos because that's a completely different ball game, but I've noticed that any time where a channel gets big enough where they kind of use their revenue to start adding to their content, like for like toy hunters, for example, kind of like the allure in the beginning, at least for me, is that they're regular folks who, you know, they're kind of in the same environment and position as you are. Like, we're kind of on a level playing field. But once they achieve enough status where they don't have to worry about their hunting budget as much anymore or anything like that, and they're just buying giant collections because they can now, and they know that they're going to get the money back from viewership. For me, I feel like that's when I start to become less interested in those channels to a degree, just because it kind of loses its realism in a way.
Yeah, definitely. No, I still try with all of my fixes to show a fix that I hope anybody can have a go at, which is why, like, people always ask me, why don't I have a 3D printer? The reason is, if I had a 3D printer, then very few people would be able to copy what I show, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what I really want is for everybody to be able to see what I do and think, well, at least I can have a go at that. So I actually did a post recently because I get a lot of people saying, why don't I use an airbrush? Like, I have an airbrush, but I never show it on the screen because I want people to be able to think, oh, I can just sit there and paint my figures and do it, you know, and copy what I do. So I really try not to use stuff that no one has, you know, and I still don't spend money on my collection. I just don't get any joy out of spending money on things. I like the cheap stuff. So
you're not going to be repairing any Final Cape Jawas or anything like that?
No, I make my own because that's cheap. No, I still think also people think that we make quite a lot of money on YouTube.
We don't.
No, I think that is still a misnomer of like what you make. I've just bought myself a new camera because my filming camera I never thought was very good. So I just bought a new filming camera, and that new camera, it will take me about 3 months worth of YouTube revenue to cover the cost of the new camera. You know, it's not, you don't make a huge amount of money. It's not people do think we're rich. I think if you're on YouTube and they see you every day that you're rich, it's not the case.
Well, unless we're in a bikini, we're not making money.
No, but that's what I say. If I was young, female and attractive, I would probably do, like, there is a YouTuber I watch who does Gundam model kits and that.
Okay.
And I'm jealous of her. Not, but she's got a very good collection of kits. I mean, her collection is amazing. But I'm jealous of her because she's young and attractive and female. And I just think if I was that, I would, you know, I would get somewhere. All
right, awesome. Well, this was super awesome. I kind of like want to cut it off at an hour and a half, so we'll take up maybe a couple more questions. But I kind of wanted to ask all you guys what you guys are working on right now, or what's next for your channel. And yeah, Narc, how about you go first, buddy?
Yeah. So let's see. The one thing I really want to promote, make sure you mark your calendars for March 14th, that Monday, for my premiere. That's all I can say. Mark your calendars, March 14th. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. That's all I can say.
You're really building it up now.
That's what I
That's
got.
not-
what I got.
That's not tomorrow. That's next week.
March 14th. Whenever.
Oh, it's in 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Working on something juicy.
Okay. Hey, Greco, how about you? Are you
Mark your
premiering
calendars for every time I make a video. No, for me, I'm just trying to, since we got this little sweet spot 2.0, as they're calling it, that we're trying to premiere videos every Monday, just trying to keep up with that release schedule. So I did do some filming today to finally put a bow on that 3-parter kind of haul that I've been showcasing in my last few videos. So we did parts 1 and 2 in the live stream of the mystery box of nostalgia. So now we're gonna put a bow on that. So I filmed that today, and hopefully I'll edit it so it's ready for tomorrow.
What about you, Dave?
Well,
You
I've shown
already
you.
know what's coming
Yeah,
out next
I've
week.
shown
I
you
mean,
bits. So there's lots more toy fixes. I've got a few odd reviews coming up of strange toys. I think I filmed this one this week, which is Robotech Lisa Hayes. I don't know why. I just happen to have it lying around. So yeah, just more regular content. Tuesdays, Fridays, there's always going to be a new video from me, and I will keep going until I run out of ideas.
Okay. Where Overman is asking where you get the droid
Him.
in the back there. Yeah.
It's a store display. A good friend of mine who goes by the name of Uncle He-Man used to work for a book company called Dorling and Kindersley, and this was back in '99, because it was when episode 1 came out, and they made these cardboard store displays. So it's made out of cardboard, and miraculously it survived 2 house moves and being stuck up in the loft for many years. So it's just about holding together, but it's just made out of cardboard, and I think you do still see them for sale occasionally, but yeah,
That's cool.
Wait, that's cardboard?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It moves as well. You can move his arms and stuff. They sort of fold, and it's quite clever.
It looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly seen better days. It's been up in a damp loft for a very long time, and but it just about holds together. So I keep it in my room just as a nice little display.
Awesome. Well, I have like some travels coming up, so I'm not sure on how my upload schedule is gonna be. Tomorrow there's a new video premiering. I don't know if Narc has one as well.
Probably not tomorrow.
I'm gonna be all alone tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been busy, man. March 14th. I'm telling you, I've been busy. It'll be all worth it.
I didn't do a toy history this week because we had Toy Polloi over. So
there you go.
That's got to be at least better than one of those things.
I thought you were blaming him for not having one.
No. It's all my fault. Should be a new toy history next Thursday or Friday, and starting from then, I'll be like heading out to the UK, heading out to USA, doing some travels, shooting like lots of hunting videos, which people have been asking about. So I'll be doing that, and I probably won't be able to do like the weekly toy history, but I'll do like longer toy history videos. I've got some topics that I really wanted to do the videos about, but it's gonna take way more editing. It's like a 40-hour edit if I do like a 25-minute episode. So I'm gonna try doing that whilst I'm out and about. So that's pretty much what I got going on, and just throwing it out there again, guys. If you got nothing to do next Saturday or Sunday, you can still get €3 off on your Comic-Con Brussels ticket if you use the code right here, #BFF. Bring your BFF to Comic-Con Brussels. That's what it stands for.
There you go.
Yeah. Matthias is coming along as well. We're going to be shooting a video there. So
Renzo or bust.
Renzo. He can't come over, unfortunately. I know. Everybody wants the Renzo.
Is Renzo like the Belgian equivalent of like Melvor?
Melvor, yeah.
Yeah. Melvor, he was like in the chat like 4 hours before the stream, like, am I too early? Yeah. Today. So, yeah. Is anybody planning to go to RetroCon in Philadelphia?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Was not on my to-do list.
Okay. I'll be in the UK, Vintage Toy Rush, from Thursday up to Monday during the weekend of the 20th to go to the NEC in Birmingham. So yeah, and I'll be bringing along the Pogs as well. So yeah.
One small trip I think I'm making. I think in the end of March. I think I'm going with Sprooch to ToyCon New Jersey, which he
Nice.
says was a lot of fun. So if I have any fans, don't talk to me.
You making any appearances, Dave? Or are you heading out to any new toy conventions?
No, I've got nothing planned actually. I don't even know when the next toy fair is coming up. I should have marked my diary. I've never been invited to a convention to make an appearance, so maybe one day. I don't think I'm at that level yet.
We don't get invited. We just show up and we tell people we're going to be there. That's
I wouldn't
what
do
this
that.
whole YouTube thing is
As long as
about.
you bring a banner, they just kind of let you in.
I'm British. I don't do things like that. I'm very quiet and reserved. Occasionally, I have a jacket now that is covered in badges, and so people do recognise me if I wear that, but I don't wear it often. I like to be anonymous.
But then when you start haggling, people will recognize the voice, and it's like, that's Toy Polloi.
Yeah,
right.
that's the problem.
That's him.
I get
getting new twiddly bits for his videos.
I get Mrs. Toy Polloi to do the haggling now, so because no one recognises her.
Okay, well, guys, this was awesome. Thanks so much for tuning in live in the live chat, for listening to this later on during the week. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to all these awesome channels. And I hope to see you in the next video. You guys want something like a last thing to say, or are you good?
Rock on.
Rock on.
As good as it's gonna get.
As good as it's gonna get. Okay. Well, thanks again, Dave, for being our guest today, and yeah, we hope to see you in the next video. All right, guys. Bye. I have to press